Hello and welcome to a new video where I'm going to be analysing Bristol City's great performance against Cardiff this weekend. So due to the fact that they usually play with a back three, we look to get at least two runners who are running in behind. This is either our two strikers or join with our right mid or left mid. They'd be running in behind. This either opens up space down the channel to obviously get a crossing at the end, or this pushes their defensive line back and creates space in between the line, or we can get the numerical advantage there. I think this game would have been perfect to play a cam in, because obviously we'd have loads of space here with just their two holding midfielders pushing high on our centre mid, so we can exploit the space with a cam. Something that would happen a lot, especially that we use two strikers, is that Weimann would kind of push up and try and drag this back three back, which would allow Martin to drop into the middle. This would especially happen from a long ball up from the keeper. Martin to drop into the cam position, and because they had two in midfield, we'd then be in a 3 versus 2 in this midfield space, and Martin would kind of link up the two midfielders to then play it around these two and either spray it out wide to the channels, which is where the space was, to try getting across for Weimann, or to obviously play a through ball to Weimann. We'd also look to push Viner infield a bit, just to sit in front of the two defenders to add kind of stability when we're attacking. Our first goal came from great movement via Weimann. He obviously was one-on-one with Flint here. The fullback had the ball in the wide areas, and Weimann kind of stepped infield. He stepped infield in between the lines, which then pulled Flint out, which then he span back kind of behind Flint, so it got in behind the defensive line, played a nice ball through, and obviously finished it into the far corner. I think that was a nice bit of movement by Weimann, especially because he knew that Flint wasn't the most mobile player, so he kind of run past him easily. And for our second goal, it was obviously a great volley by Weimann. He watched the ball all the way as it came over the defender's head, and then obviously finished it into the near post. So we pressed in the way, which kind of forced the ball out wide, because we knew with their formation, with a 3-4-3, they'd obviously have only one player out wide, with this player in the half space. And if you can outnumber this player out wide when they're on the ball, then obviously we can win the ball out wide and kind of get at them when they're on the front foot. So to start off with, our strikers would kind of make the curve run here to make sure the ball goes out wide instead of coming inside. But also we'd kind of shadow the double pivot here, so that obviously they can't make this ball here, and they'd either have to make the pass in there, which then we could shift over there. But we get the ball out wide and then create mainly a 3 versus 2 overload with our striker, winger and fullback against their winger and kind of cam position. Because they have two inside forwards here and here, we wouldn't really press with our two centre mids. Our centre mids wouldn't really go up there, because obviously that would leave two players in between the lines for a quick through ball here. So instead they kind of sit off, and obviously our strikers would shadow these double pivots, so the ball was forced out wide. But if the ball did come in the middle, then our centre mids would also shadow them. But also they kind of sit back deep whenever we had the ball up here. Well, or one would go up forward and one would sit back to make sure that they couldn't catch on the break with our fullbacks pushed up, and then it's a 3 versus 2 here. If one drops deep, it makes it a 3 versus 3, which is what we needed to stop them countering us. In yesterday's game, there were only probably 2 big defensive errors that we made. I think the first one coming when a long ball was played over the top and flicked on by their cam to their striker in the end, and luckily Baker got across and kind of put him off. But Atkinson here was caught in no man's land. He either had the option of obviously pushing up and trying to challenge for the long ball, which he didn't do, or kind of sitting back and supplying that back 4 so he couldn't get past easily, which he didn't do as well. He kind of like sat here and kind of didn't really do anything. He kind of let the cam flick the ball onto the striker. That was the first error kind of I thought that we had in that game. And the second error I thought we made in the game was obviously their first and only goal, where I think Pat picked the ball up here, played a nice reverse pass into one of their players who was running kind of like this around our block. He played a nice reverse pass into Moore, I think it was, who crossed it and it kind of got fumbled up in the keeper and bounced back off Bentley. There's nothing really we could do with that because Bentley was he dived for the ball and he re-runned off him. But this is the same sort of thing that happened in the Blackpool game at the start of the season, where their runner was unchallenged, just ran across here without being followed and was free to get a crossing or have a shot from a tight angle. So my overall thoughts on this game is that we kind of dominated them in most of the areas. We kind of got everything right, and I think we're in really good form right now, so we hopefully could carry this momentum over the international break to in a couple weeks when we play, I think it's Preston, and hopefully push for maybe a top half finish. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.